But I do appreciate you hopping on regardless. You haven't put your face on yet, Donovan. Get out of here.
All right, let's get started. Thank you everyone for joining us today for another Modern Agent Blueprint. And today we are blessed to have the one and only Nicole, who is going to be running the show today. And Nicole, what are you going to be talking about today?
We're going to be talking about ditching the, I actually forgot what the title of my thing is. What is it? I just looked at it too. Oh, ditch cold calling and tap into the free marketing at your fingertips. I'm really excited about this one. So it's going to be good. And then next week we have Nikki Wolf on, and she's going to be talking about something with branding or marketing. I'm not even sure what she's talking about yet, but that'll be a good one. And then I am not going to be on next week because I'm going to be in Italy actually. And then the week after that, on the 4th, we're going to have Chelsea Pites on. So I'm super, super excited for her because she is amazing. So I can't wait for what's coming.
We have some good content coming up.
Yeah, for sure. So, all right, well, let's jump right into it. So I'm going to do my screen share. Lee, did you turned off your sound?
I did.
Cool. All right. Can everybody see my screen right now? Verify. Okay, cool.
Yes.
All right. So let me move you guys around so I can actually see my screen. There we go. All right. So, I think one of the things that we preach a lot on Modern Agent Blueprint is being a modern agent. And now, while you might still cold call, you might still do all those things, that's fine. If you like that, if you're okay with doing that, great. That's just not really been anything that I wanted to implement into my business personally. But this whole thing is about the free marketing at your fingertips. So, I think one thing that everyone needs to understand going, even years back, this is my 5th year in real estate. I have pretty much solely done business via social media. So I'm getting calls from Google, I'm getting calls from social media, I'm getting calls from people who just see me on social media, know that I'm a realtor, and want to make sure that I am the agent that's working for them. David, it looks like you are in a party right now, but I think you're at the car wash. It's like all these like blinking lights. It's like he's at a party. It's amazing. So let's dive in now. Let me go to the next page here. So what we're going to talk about today are 4 tools to help you dominate social media. So we're going to talk about your game plan. So we are going to give you a 30-day Instagram game plan. We're going to talk about posting schedules, 50 video ideas you should shoot, and 8 ways to turn your likes into commission. Now, full transparency, I got this stuff from Tom Ferry. When I read this, I was like, holy crap, I'm turning this around and I'm going to make it look prettier. And I'm going to present this to you guys because this stuff was so good. I really love the ideas that they had for the videos and for the Instagram game plan. So don't worry, if you guys want to screenshot it, you can screenshot it, but I'll give you guys all of these posts. I'll probably make them into like a Google sheet that you guys can just download, or a PDF that you guys can download. So I'll put it in Modern Agent Blueprint, but for now, we'll go through everything. So let's hop right in. So the 3 great benefits of using social media: it's easy, it's quick, it's a great way to get comfortable in front of the camera, and it's a proven method to inform and educate your followers to put you in a position as your market's knowledge broker. So same thing with when we talk about, you want to be that person who everyone knows, likes, and trusts you, so they come to you. This is the way to do that. We've talked about this a million times. If you're new to our Modern Agent Blueprint masterminds, we preach all the time about how the way you're going to get business from social media is showing up, being your authentic self, being your person, being who you are in person as you are on video and on camera, but also putting yourself in a position to show your authority in the market, making sure that people know who you are. They know that you're smart. They know that they want to work with you because there should be no other option. They should want to work with you. So a couple pro tips before we get started. I am a big believer in shooting your videos in batches, so you don't have to do it every single day. That is one thing that, you know, I don't know about you guys, but I will get on like a creative streak and I'll want to just film a bunch of videos, film a bunch of reels, instead of trying to say, okay, today I'm going to do a video on this, tomorrow I'm going to do a video on this, because let's be real, like our schedules are so crazy that chances are something's going to happen and we're not going to be able to get to it. So we need to make sure we have a plan of action. And shooting yours in batches, you can schedule out a day where you do like 2 to 3 hours and you just rock out all those videos, and that way you have them ready to go. So after you post these videos, pro tip number 2, after you post these videos to your Instagram stories, you can save them as your highlight. That way people can always come back and view those. So then it helps people discover who you are and your page. Let me make sure. I want to move you guys just one more time here. I know you guys can't see this, but I'm going to move you. All right. Okay, so we're hopping right in because we're going to get this one quick, and then we're going to talk about some things. And I'm going to read some of these to you. I am not going to read every single one of these to you, but this is a great 30-day Instagram story plan. So you can hop into your stories every single day and do a story about this. You could also make these into educational videos. You can make these into YouTube videos. You can make these into YouTube shorts, TikToks, any of these things. These are a whole bunch of different ideas. So what if it says we need to make repairs? What does escrow mean? Is staging worth it? Do staged homes actually sell more for their money? I see ads all the time for easier ways to sell a house, like Open Door and all that. Why should I sell my home the traditional way? Will my house show better if I move out? Why should I hire a realtor and pay commission when I could just sell my house on my own? These are things that you can literally do a 60-second video on, 30-second video sometimes even. And now with these sites, they're all allowing like 90 minutes. Some people who I think are consistent, what's the word on like influencers or whatever, if you're doing a lot of videos, I know like some TikToks now can go like 3 minutes. So I think you have to be consistent with it before they'll allow you to do that. But these are amazing videos. And I will tell you guys something that I realized recently. I don't know if any of you have seen my video, but I did a video on a nightmare situation where my client, I was very dramatic in how I presented it on TikTok and Instagram, but they almost lost their house before closing. So literally at the closing table, they realized that their bank doesn't do wires. So instead of me just saying like, oh, story time, let me tell you this thing, I put in bold across the screen, how my clients almost lost their house at closing. So like that alone is kind of like clickbait, right? Probably not clickbait because I think that's like a bait and switch, but it was basically like they clicked it because they wanted to hear more. And on those videos, just for reference, I'll tell you guys right now, I'll tell you what that video on Instagram. Now, my videos are pretty consistent, around 1,000 views, 1,400 views. Sometimes they go way high, sometimes they go lower. I did a part 1 and a part 2. So the part 1 got 16,052 views. This is on Instagram. And then the part 2 got 71,000 views. But when I go to TikTok, I'm going to pull up my TikTok so I can show, oh, you hear it. It got 12.3 thousand likes or 1,000 views. So, and it didn't start out that way. So that's one thing I will say about your stories or your videos or whatever. When you're doing your videos, and we can kind of get into this a little bit more when we get down there, your viral videos or the videos that you do are not necessarily going to take off the second you post it. So don't get discouraged if your video only gets like 200 views or 300 views. That's what happened with that video on TikTok. I fell off of TikTok for a while. I was not on it a lot. I started it back in COVID when I think a lot of us did. I was doing videos on there, usually cross-posting between Instagram and TikTok. And so I fell off for a while. I did a couple videos. I got like, one of them I had 4 views. So I actually ended up deleting that video because I was like, this is embarrassing. I can't have a video on here with 4 views. So I took that one off, but I've done a couple more. And now, so that one started out slow. And then all of a sudden overnight, it went from like 600 views or 700 views to 11,000. And now it's over 12. So don't be discouraged if your videos don't do like amazing first things first, but it does help to have, like, if you're going to do a story or if you're going to do a reel or something, to have like a click worthy thing, like saying or verbiage across the screen, so somebody knows what they're going to read, or they know what they're going to watch when they see the video. Does that make, I'm sure that makes sense to you guys. Although I'm stammering over my words here. Okay, here's some more. So if the market's so hot and it's difficult to buy a house, why would I sell now? Where would I even go? Like that is like the number one concern right now, right? Is our sellers don't know where to go because they can sell their house high, but then they're going to buy high. So we need to help walk people through that process and how that looks and what that means for them. How about, oh, I missed a step here, but I messed up on one on the other side. What's the first step to buying a home? Number 28 should have been another one, but I want to buy a house. What are the steps I should take? So doing videos like that, especially if you're a new agent, one, I don't know how you guys feel about this, but I feel like when I learn something, I learn best by explaining it to other people. So if you're a new agent, you can go through and explain, here's how you buy a house. First steps first, you need to do this. I just talked to a new buyer yesterday. They called me, they found me on Google. They called me and they were terrified to do a pre-approval, like absolutely terrified to do a pre-approval. But why? Right? So like I asked them, what is your concern about doing the pre-approval? And they're like, well, we don't want to get approved for less than what we want. So we're just really scared to do it. And I was like, well, what if it's more than you thought? Or what if there are issues and we need to fix those issues so we can get you in a house by your timeline? So honestly, these are videos that people need to see. These are videos that people are going to read. They're going to watch them and they're going to be like, oh my gosh, this is the person I need to go to because they are a wealth of knowledge. So here's another one too that I just got yesterday or 2 days ago. I have a person who is they're looking to buy a house in Tennessee. And if they find a house that they like, they're going to list their house here. But they were super concerned about getting things in order before they go down to Tennessee. So they're actually going to Tennessee next week. I talked with them. I sat with them for 2 hours and we went through everything. The biggest concern they had is, I don't want to sign all these listing documents if we're not going to sell the house. And I was like, I'm not locking you into this contract. If you don't find a house, we're not going to sell your house. Like, I'm not going to make you move. But that is a real concern for people who don't know how this process works. So that's one thing that I think is a really great way to explain things. Another one that I have, I'm actually relisting a house that had expired with another realtor. We're getting ready to relist it next week. The first week of April. She didn't realize that she could get out of her contract or change agents. She had no idea. So she was left with this agent who literally just did nothing and let her house sit on the market for 180 some days with hardly any communication. She had no idea that she could break that contract. So putting this information out there for people to understand that they have options is going to be paramount in our business, because if they know, like, we're being honest and upfront with them, they're going to feel more comfortable coming with us. And, I've seen realtors, I've seen teams and stuff do this, like, like a breakup, an easy breakup, whatever, like, you can cancel your contract anytime you like. Things like, people want to know that they have the flexibility that if they're not happy with you for some reason, they can always leave the deal. So I tell that to people about my buyer agency contracts and about my listing contracts. If you feel like I'm not doing a good job, let's get you out of this and find you somebody else who you like, because obviously they're probably not going to be happy with me and I want them to be happy with me. So those are just some ideas of things that you could also throw in to your mix. So really think about, especially in this market, we need to think about the pain points of our potential clients, of our niche market. What is that pain point right now? Can I find a house? What happens when I get outbid? Like, I'm pretty sure that one of these things on here is about like, being outbid on offers. But like, that's the biggest concern right now. How to stay positive when you're getting outbid. How can we figure this out? Like, what's the best mindset for that? So I think these are all things that we really need to be focusing on for this new market. Now, I did just talk to a lender yesterday, and she told me that they anticipate interest rates coming down by May. Well, that's awesome for buyers. But what does that mean? It means that we're going to have a flood of new buyers coming back in or resurfacing because they went on hold while rates were 7%. And now if it goes back down to 5%, they're going to be flooding the market, which means other offers are going to be coming in, which means we're going to have a harder time getting our offers accepted. So we need to anticipate those needs of those clients and really step up and show them why we're the person that they should be working with. I'm just going to check in the chat really quick. Easy exit. Yes, Stephanie, that's exactly what I'm talking about. Anna, you said, do you believe stories have more power than posts on Instagram right now? Where should I be spending the most of my time? We're going to talk about that. I'm not going to answer that just yet. I have my feelings about it, but we're going to talk about it in just a minute. So don't worry, you guys, if you didn't screenshot these, I will make sure you get them. So here we are going to go right into our scheduling. So, Anna, this is going to go right into what you were just asking. So social media posts, we're going to break this down into beginner, intermediate, and advanced. So depending on where you feel like you fit, this is what you technically should be doing according to Tom Ferry. So, and I have a little bit of a different stance on some of these. So we'll talk about that in a minute, but I think this is a great way to think about your scheduling posts and how you're scheduling your time on social media. So if you're a beginner, 2 to 3 stories a day, 3 posts a week, you can repost your story feeds into your stories. They're talk about your day, use stickers like polls, Q&A, links. So Facebook 3 to 5 times a week, a mix between static posts, links to article, Facebook Lives, video posts. Excuse me. Hold on, I gotta take a drink. Sorry. LinkedIn, this is one that I fail on. I don't really post much on LinkedIn, but I do know, I think Nikki Wolf does a ton. I don't know if she's on the call, but I think she does pretty consistently post on social media on LinkedIn, and she does get some pretty good return on that. So market updates, link to article, reuse your Facebook posts from that week. Keep in mind, LinkedIn is a completely different, it's a different platform. So you need to think about how you're structuring your posts a little bit different. You wouldn't necessarily want to put like your outfit of the day on LinkedIn. Like LinkedIn is going to be more of your business type posts. And then Twitter, 2 to 4 times a week, quotes, market updates, links to articles, basically the same thing, reuse. If you're seeing that now, like we're reusing the posts, we're reusing the stuff, and you can spread it across. Now, this does not include YouTube. YouTube, I think that's a whole nother beast, but you could use your YouTube shorts and use your Instagram stories and Instagram videos on YouTube. With this, I do think, so I'll tap into what Anna had asked. So Instagram, you have to think about your feed as like your kind of like your the showroom or like the front window of your business. People are looking in, they're scrolling. Do they want to step foot in your business? Do they want to, do they want to browse around? Do you have anything that's like to their liking? It's like when you're window shopping, like you walk by a store, you see what's in the window. Do you want to go into that store or not? Your stories are a peek inside of that store. So your stories are, you're hearing what the person has to say. You're hearing what they're talking about. You're hearing their voice. For one, you're putting a face and a voice together, which now is creating that relationship. And then on top of that, you're also creating interest into what you're talking about. You're creating interest. You could go back and do like a green screen with the post that you just posted and talk about that post. Or, if you're one of those people who posts like the graphs and all that stuff, put the graphs in the back on a green screen, filter, and talk about what the graph says. Talk about what it means. Like those are all things that are going to help people understand you and your business. And that's going to be something that's going to help them create that relationship with you and want to do business with you in the future. Okay, so going over to intermediate, things change a little bit. This is Instagram stories, 4 to 7 stories a day, 2 reels, and 3 to 4 feed posts. And this goes for a week, right? So we're not talking about a day here, but the stories a day, 2 reels a week, 3 to 4 feed posts a week. Same exact things. All the little lines underneath are basically breaking down that stuff, and it repeats itself. So Facebook 3 to 5 times a week, LinkedIn 2 to 5 times a week, and Twitter 4 to 6 times a week. So you're picking it up a little bit more. You're being more consistent. You're being more intentional about what you're posting. And with an intermediate, you're doing a little bit more of the reels, where as a beginner, maybe you're not quite dabbling in reels yet. Does anybody have any questions about this so far? It doesn't look like I have anything in the chat. Does anybody have any questions about this stuff yet? Or maybe let's do advanced and then we'll talk about the differences.
I do, Nicole. I have a question about this. With the reels, basically all of those story ideas that you just gave us.
Yeah.
Do you suggest just doing like regular stories where they disappear in 24 hours and you can save them to your highlights? Or do you suggest saving those as reels, like making the videos as reels, posting it on your feed, posting on your stories?
So I think you could do a combination of them. I mean, realistically, you can take your stories and make them into a reel. And a lot of times, I don't know if it comes up for you guys, but I get those all the time that'll pop up as like an inspiration. I'll say, make your reels into a story, or make your stories into a reel, or make your posts into a reel. And you can take those and create a reel out of your stories. Sometimes what I've done is made a reel and then take the reel, put it into my stories, link in there like new reel or whatever. And I forgot your question already. I felt like I was on a track and then I lost it.
No, you're good. Just the difference between creating a story that disappears in 24 hours versus creating the reel that stays in your feed.
So one thing I would say is, depending on what the story is, depends on whether you want to keep it around forever or not, right? So you have the option of putting things in your highlights. So one thing I would recommend for everybody on their highlights is to have an about me section or work with me, or something that introduces who you are, what your business is about, how you handle things. Mine are stories. So I have been intentional about, like, one day, like just posting in a row, a bunch of different stories, like, nice to meet you, I'm Nicole, like my information, who do I help? Like, you could break that down. Your reels, you could have your highlights. I want to make sure you guys all know what a highlight is before I confuse anybody. So you have your highlights across the screen. Now mine, I made fancy to make it look like it says hello. Depending on your name, you could have like, Anna could go across, Anna with an exclamation point, or Anna, work with me, or something like that. You could have anything like that. I don't know how you have yours, but you could just do it colors, like your brand colors, whatever you want to do. But I would suggest having like an about me. Then you could have one, start here for sellers, start here for buyers. Like, you could have all your different things and then create like almost like subfolders to your feed for, like, when you have somebody who comes to your page and they are a buyer, they know exactly where to go. They can click on that and they can watch your stories about like buyer stuff. Then they could go back, if it's a seller, they could do the seller stories. So you could be intentional about how you're posting things and then how it shows on your feed. Keep in mind, if you are going to spell something out, once you post a new, like, let's say mine says hello. So if I post, dropping my phone. If I post something into my 4 realtors one, which I do need to change these names, so ignore that. But if I post something into 4 realtors, which is the E and hello, it's going to bump in front of the H. It's going to like go to the front. So you have to be intentional about like, okay, shoot, I just posted something in my 4 realtors highlight. Now it says like I don't even know how to say it, like EHLLO. So then I have to redo it, add a new one into my new office one to make that H bounce back to the front. So I hope that makes sense. It makes sense to me. I hope it makes sense to you guys. But what I'm saying is, you could have like subfolders in your story or in your highlights to help keep those stories alive and keep them showing up for people. But also, I would definitely have reels that also live in there. But to be honest, like, somebody's going to have to scroll through your entire, potentially your entire feed to try to find one specific video. it would be more beneficial to have that in your story highlights, to where then somebody, like, let's say you did a reel on your, you did a reel on buyer, whatever, something buyers, you put that in your highlights, and then you could link it back to the actual video. So that way people can actually watch the whole video. So that's probably probably the best idea that I can think of, is just reposting that reel into your stories and then adding it to a highlight. Does that make sense? Let me see. I feel like I'm rambling. Kara, I need to do more of my highlights. They could be so beneficial. I don't utilize them much, but I love the buyer. Yeah. So, oh, and how many of these are live? You know, so I would say going live now, I would say you have to come up with an idea that's going to be realistic for you. I know of some people who are like, I'm going to go live, 365 days a year. And I think like that doesn't last long. You get burnt out on it really quick, or you miss a day and then you're like, oh shoot, now I got to start all over. Now I just messed it up. Like, be realistic. I would use your Facebook lives. There's a couple different ways of thinking about this. There's some agents in our area who they go live every single day, no matter where they're at. Every restaurant they go to, they go live. Every event, realtor event they go to, they go live. Like, but here's the benefit of that is everybody knows exactly how they sound, exactly how they look. They know and have a good vibe on who those people are, because they are so consistent with doing their lives. For me, lives stress me out. Like, I've tried to do lives with like announcing like level up and all that, and it's stressful. I can't get people on. If I'm doing it by myself, it's a little different. But when you're like, let's say you want to go live to show your new listing, I would do that 100%. Let's do a walkthrough of my brand new listing at 123 Main Street, and then walk through the house. We're walking into, I think, Kara, I'm glad she's on here. I can't see everybody. I can just see like, 5 people, but Kara does a really, really good job. She actually spoke at our Level Up event about how she's built her business through social media as well. And Kara does a really good job of showing up every day. She posts so consistently. I don't know if she has a schedule or not. Maybe she can come off mute if she wants to, but I don't know if she has a schedule, but she posts all the time. She's always doing like little short videos like, hey, I'm walking into my closing right now. So excited for my clients. I'll show you pictures later, or whatever. Like, she's just so good about doing that. And she posts on her stories all the time about how people are DMing her, out of nowhere, people she's not friends with, who want to work with her because they see her around town all the time. They see her posts, they see her things. She's everywhere. So I think that that's one of those things that this is what we're using social media for. That's the whole purpose of this social media stuff, is to be that person that gets all those messages and gets those DMs from people we don't even know, because they see us everywhere. Let me go back to the chat. Sorry. Any recommendations on how to get started if we don't use Instagram or TikTok? Is there a guru on YouTube that you would recommend? Well, one, Chelsea Pikes is amazing. She is a Instagram, I would call her Instagram guru. She's going to be on the first week of April. She's just like Instagram strategies, but to be honest, like, let me go back. Well, you know what? We never finished this. Let me do this really quick and then we'll go back. So Instagram for advanced, 10 to 15 stories a day, 5 to 7 reels a week. I feel like that's a bit excessive. I'll be honest. 3 to 5 posts a week. Facebook 5 to 7 times a week. I also don't do that. I mean, I would consider myself advanced, but I don't do all of this and I still see a good return. So just throwing that out there for you guys. LinkedIn 5 times a week, and Twitter 6 to 14 times a week. Stories, I have my kind of rule of thumb is I always want a story all the time. I kind of fall off on the weekends sometimes because, we get busy or we're doing kid stuff or whatever. I do kind of fall off a little bit on the weekends, but anytime I see that little plus sign by my Instagram story, I'm like, oh shoot, I got to post something. So if I don't feel like doing face to camera, I don't have time, I didn't do my hair, whatever, I'll go and find like house videos that I can share, or a quote or something that I can share, just so there's something in my stories. Also, if you want kind of like a reboot on your story views, take 24 hours off and then post something or post a series of things, and you'll see a lot more views and a lot more engagement because it's going to pop you to the front of everything. So going back to that question about beginner Instagram, TikToks, all that, and this doesn't really even go into TikTok. The whole thing is about being consistent. So you have to really figure out, I'm going to go back. I want to see who was talking about this. Ginny. So I would say you need to come up with an idea that is realistic for you. If you've never really used Instagram, you know, you are just going to be starting brand new. It's going to take time to get followers. It's going to take time to really grow, and you just have to be patient with it. But I would say start out by just posting an introduction. Like, let me see. Sorry, I can't see your face and I want to try to see. I think you are off cam or you were on camera. Yeah. Hi. Okay. I would say start with an introduction. Hi, I'm new here. I've never really done this before. Like, you could do a video like, I'm brand new on Instagram. I don't know what I'm doing. This is so weird. I mean, the more authentic you are about it, the more you're going to see people who are like, I totally resonate with that. I would never want to put my face on camera. Like, I wouldn't want to do that. But the more that people are real and you're saying like, I'm brand new here, bear with me. We're trying to figure this out. Like my page, follow my page. Like, we're going to be sharing new things, and really come up with like a game plan of what you're going to do. How does this new Instagram and TikTok life look for you? Is it really post? Do you think realistically you can do 3 posts a week? Maybe it's only 1 for the first week until you get the hang of it. Then you can move up. So don't take this as, oh my God, 2 to 5 stories a day. Like, nobody wants to see that stuff. One, that's not true. Everybody wants to know. Everybody wants to know what's in this cup. Everybody wants to know how I make my breakfast smoothies. People, like, you would be surprised, like, how the silliest little things that people want to know. I mean, going to Starbucks and showing your Starbucks order, everybody wants to know that. And I don't know why, but I think we're all just curious about other people's stuff. So the fact that you've never really been on Instagram, you have so much stuff you can share. If you've been in real estate for a long time, Glenda Baker was a perfect example of this. I would look at her. She's one I would definitely look at. Glenda Baker. You can do something like what she's doing. It doesn't have to be as produced though. So you can talk to the camera and tell stories. If you've been in real estate for a year at this point, you probably have stories you could tell. If you've been in real estate for a long time, I am sure you have stories that you can tell. Those are the things that people want to see. So you can take whatever it is that you are thinking, like, I'm a really good storyteller. I could tell a quick 30-second story or 60-second story and put that out there. And just, once you start building that up, people are going to be coming back and wanting to see. Does that help your question, Jenny? You can come off mic, or you can give me a high five.
Yes, that does help. I'm not the agent, but I am the one that handles everything behind the scenes. And so I would be the one setting this all up.
What I would suggest, I don't know what agent you work for, but one thing you could do is go screenshot that list of questions, have them sitting across from you. You don't have to be on camera. Have them sitting across from you, have like a ring light or something lighting them up, or a natural light window. Ask them the questions and have them answer it.
Right.
That's that's a great way to do it. I see a lot of people doing that now. That's one of the things that Glenda Baker does, is she has, like, they kind of ask her questions and she answers them. So it's almost like an interview style, but they're entertaining because she's telling a funny story about, how she sold the wrong house, or how she did this or whatever, or certain stories. That's what's going to get people interested.
I do know what to put out there. I just don't know how to create it. That's what I'm looking for. Is the how do you create, the background? How do you make it look okay? How do you make it's my husband. We've been in the business for years. We've got tons of wonderful, funny, crazy stories, and he's funny. So I have no problem with that. It's just trying to figure out how to do it.
I would say the first thing is don't overcomplicate it. It's literally your phone. I mean, all you have to do is just say, hey, I'm going to do a quick interview. Doesn't really matter the background. I mean, to be honest, you could do it in a car. It doesn't matter. You could do it in a car. You could sit outside. You could do it in front of a messy desk, it really doesn't matter. I would just say like, hey, I'm going to interview, I'm going to ask a couple of questions for social media, and then just record. You can do them directly in Instagram. There are tons of Instagram and TikTok. I'm trying to think of what, like, content creators who share how to do certain things. Like, I just don't think you need to overcomplicate it. I think people get a little bit too worried about making it perfect and making it a certain way instead of just doing it. And the more you do it, the more comfortable you're going to get, the more ideas you're going to have, and the more it's going to flow. You can then, you can create a space. If you want to create like a nice background or something, not saying this is very nice. You can see all my mess over here. I took the stack of stuff down that was on my desk over here a minute ago, but you don't have to make it perfect to do your video. And I think the more authentic the video seems, the better it's going to be.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Oh, Kara, she had to go to the doctor or the dentist today. She doesn't have a schedule. I just consistently think about what I can post in the day. It's like my clock in, where people clock in 9 to 5. I clock into Facebook, then I'm not, and I'm not getting paid. I normally do 8 to 16 stories a day. I know it's a ton, but people know everything about me, top of mind. It shows it all, the good, the bad, the ugly, and yes, don't overthink it. If people saw my videos from 2014 and 2016, when I did makeup, y'all, it's awful, but I became a 6-figure earner fast. You just have to be you. People aren't looking for perfect. Done is better than perfect. I 100% agree. But I'm also the first person to be like, I am not doing a video. I don't have makeup on. I don't have my hair done. But that's when you can do like a video of like showing something, or like like you can record a video of you making your morning coffee, like any of those things. Your stories don't, and please do not make all your stories about real estate. This is where people get to know you. And I'm going to go back to Kara. I know this wasn't even about her, but I'm going to go back to Kara. I know so much about Kara. In fact, we had never met until she came up here for Level Up. And I knew about her struggles. I knew about her business, how it's booming. I know what her her signature color is. I knew all of these things about her just from social media, right? So like, I've met a lot of people through social media, and you develop, it's kind of creepy, but you develop that, parasocial relationship with them where they feel like they know you. I felt like I knew Kara before I actually met her. So you develop these relationships with people kind of unintentionally. And then you see them in person and you're like, you feel like, oh, hey, like, how's it going? And, people come up to me all the time and they're like talking to me, and I'm like, I have absolutely no clue who you are, but I appreciate that you follow me on social media. It is a weird situation, but that's how people know that they like you. And that's how people are going to know they want to work with you. And Kara's a amazing example of that. Just putting yourself out there, the good, the bad, the ugly, posting about things. People really want to see what happens day to day. I know Anna has posted some really amazing, like behind the scenes stuff, like day-to-day stuff. I'm just using people who I can see on my screen, but always good stuff. All right. Bill said you're a celebrity. I wish. People are nosy. That's totally true. I don't know if Jasmine hopped off, but bye, Jasmine. People are nosy. They do want to know what's going on. They want to know, what's next, what's happening. Like Kara. Oh, so Kara, I knew she liked Marshalls and TJ Maxx, right? Like, I want to see what the outfit of the day is, or what kind of stuff do they have at her TJ Maxx? Like there's all these different things. Like, you develop these relationships without even knowing it. And that's how you build that relationship with people. So we're going to move on really quick. Going back to what I was telling Ginny, now that you know what your optimal schedule is, how are you going to hold yourself accountable? Like, this is something that we all have to think about. Like, my goal is I like to do 3 to 4 feed posts a week. I don't always get to it. I don't always do it, but that's my goal. I want a new post every 3 to 4 days. If it's been a week, I feel like I'm overdue. Like, I got that alarm going off that's like, oh, you're overdue. You haven't done that thing yet. So it's really important to make sure you're holding yourself to accountable, whether that means I'm going to do, 3 stories a day. And sometimes, you know, I might jump on to do a story, and telling that story is 10 story lengths long. So a story is only 15 seconds long. So it can take, you know, like you can do a story and telling one, you know, I keep saying story, but that's just how it goes, an Instagram story. And when I'm telling the whole story out loud, it might take 10 clips to go by. So all of a sudden you're like, wow, I have all of the story. I don't even have to really post anything for the rest of the day. But you want to really go back. If you're going to post something like that in the morning, you should go back and post something like mid-afternoon, evening, because the more you post, the more, like when somebody's story comes up, I think some of you already know this, but the top, it's going to show you your new stories. So every time somebody, if Eric posts a new story, he's going to bump back up to the front. You want to be at the front of that line all the time, so people are seeing your stuff. So make sure that you don't just post once for the day and then you leave. You want to make sure that you're going back and doing more. Okay, so here are the 50 video ideas. Again, if you want to screenshot, go ahead, but I'm going to give you guys all of these slides so you don't have to worry about it. Let's see. Okara said, I mean, I want to see what people eat too and where they get their clothes. Totally. I am with you. Everything I own is pretty much Amazon, if that helps at all. So these are great video ideas. So these videos can also be stories. They can be reels. They could be literally any way you could do a story. And I would highly, highly, highly suggest cross-posting, meaning if you're going to post it on Instagram, post it on Facebook, post it on TikTok, post it on YouTube Shorts, get it everywhere. Don't overthink it. Don't, you know, that's the biggest thing I have been saying for 2-3 years now. I'm going to get into YouTube. Guess who hasn't done a thing with YouTube? Me, because I overthink it. If I just took my videos and shot some videos horizontally, because that's the other difference. Instagram, you're shooting this way. YouTube, you're shooting horizontally. If I just did some videos, I could post them and on there and could potentially be getting business from it, but I overthink it. So we just need to make sure we're stepping back, not overthinking everything, and really just getting the content out there. So these are some great ideas here. Excuse me. I'm going to go on to the next one because I'm not going to go through it. Well, let me read a couple. My most embarrassing moment in real estate career. There was that one video, I'm sure you guys probably remember, where the girl was wearing a skirt and she was walking to show a house and she tripped and fell and her skirt went over her head. And she was telling the story, but she was laughing hysterically at the whole experience. And I mean, I was in tears. I was laughing so hard because she was laughing so hard. So it's like, you know, telling those embarrassing moments. The weirdest question I ever got in real estate, what's a spring market going to look like in your neighborhood or in your area? Like, these are all amazing ideas. How much down payment do you really need to buy a house? Like, we all know that there's, you know, everyone's like, there's a lot of people who still think you have to have 20% down, and explain why that's not true or what that might mean for them. 6 tips for real estate investors in Detroit or, you know, Raleigh, whatever it may be. Really, like, these are amazing ideas that you can transform into any sort of video that you want to do. Does anybody have any questions about these or any other topics that you think might be an awesome one? You can just come off mic, off mute, I mean. Nobody? Okay, moving on. Here's a little bit more. So debunking 10 of the biggest myths in Ann Arbor real estate. Exploring your loan options. Most people don't know what their loan options are. Some people want to know when's the best time to buy a house. Maybe giving them pros and cons of buying in spring versus buying in winter. 5 ways to make your house stand out in a crowded market. Like, these are all things that you could easily do for any type of video. Let's see. This is wonderful. I love it all. Thanks. I would love to take the credit for this, but we're going to give it to Tom Ferry. But that's why I've had to share it, because I thought it was so good. Like, all of these ideas are fantastic, and you can take them. Like, that's the thing I've talked to you guys about before, is once you start reading some of these ideas, more start coming. Write them down. Like, just start writing down ideas that come to you, or maybe you're in the middle of doing a video and you're like, oh my gosh, I could totally explain that. write it down. You don't have to do it right then, but it's a great way to kind of keep that energy flowing, that creative energy, writing down your different ideas. And before you know it, you might have 47 ideas. Now you might have, a month and a half of content right there. And if you broke it down by 4 posts a week or 3 posts a week, now you have months of content. So really think about that. Okay, so let's get into 8 ways to turn likes into commissions. So getting your followers into action is the whole point of increasing your social media activity. It's not just to get Instagram famous or internet famous or just get, 100 likes on your post or 600 likes on your post. It's to get more business. And that's what we talk about. Like, this is that free marketing right at your fingertips, where all you have to do is be yourself and make sure people think of you when it comes to real estate. So be sure to use these tactics whenever possible, and it's going to be one of your best conversion tools. So let's go to the next slide. These are like the best tips. I've talked about this before. Always, always, always have a link in your bio. You can use Linktree or Milkshake to be able to house multiple links. So maybe you need a link to your website, a link to your buyer guide, a link to your seller guide, maybe a relocation guide. Maybe you sell stuff. Maybe you could have your Etsy link. You could have your link to your lender. Like, you could have a link to so many different things in your Linktree or Milkshake. The difference between the two, Milkshake is just a little bit more customizable. You can make it look a lot prettier. I think Linktree has free, and I think they have paid versions, and the paid version is a little bit better, but I do think Milkshake is prettier. Always ask for feedback in your post. So making sure that you're asking for like somebody to comment back in your content, or giving, and we're going to talk about this in a minute, the call to action. You want to make sure that you have some sort of call to action. DM me for details on how to get my buyer's guide. DM me to find out the first step, whatever it might be. Just give that call to action. Be welcoming and encourage people to reach out to you with any questions. Create and promote lead magnets that you could do a simple lead magnet form on several different sites. Save a frequently asked question in your Instagram stories. So let's say you start doing these video ideas, you can create a frequently asked question highlight, and then every question can be right in that frequently asked questions. So people can go through those and start watching all of those frequently asked questions to get answers. Use polls on your Instagram stories to identify people considering to move. I see this a lot. I think it's so smart, like asking people, is your house too big, too little, or just perfect? And then somebody might say too big. Well, hey, they might be looking to downsize soon. And they'll ask questions like you can create pretty or like nice looking posts with these questions. And then you'll have several questions. Like you could start one that's like, how do I know if I'm ready to move? Is your house too big, too little, too small, or just right? Then the next one is, does your house have all the amenities that you would like? Does it have a pool? Does it have this? Like you could put those ideas all over the screen and then do a yes or a no. Are you close to the things you like to do? Yes or no. Maybe somebody wants to be, on the beach in Florida, but they're living in Wisconsin right now. And that's obviously not where they really want to be. So putting those things in there can really help really start getting their mind going on whether they actually want to live there or not. But it also puts you in that position for them to message you, and then repeat it. And then work with another page on content and have them add you as a collaborator to expand your reach and introduce new audiences. Like a local ice cream place, they put on here, a local ice cream place for the best place in your town. So what you could do is do like a best of in your city, or my favorite coffee shops in Ann Arbor, and you could tag all of the different coffee shops. You could do, and actually what I would suggest is maybe putting them all together, but then do separate posts with them, because they're going to want to reshare it. And they probably wouldn't want to reshare if you had 5 different coffee shops that are their competitors. So you might want to do separate posts for each of them. Like my next few slides are going to be my favorite coffee shops. So if you go around and you take a selfie with your coffee, show, you know, whatever it is, maybe it shows your order, maybe it's just like, you know, show some hot spots around your town, you can post those, then they're going to share those again. It's really, when you post businesses in your stories, make sure you're tagging them because they will reshare it. I also, pro tip, let's say I go to Drip House Coffee in Ann Arbor, it's right across from the U of M Stadium. It's the perfect place to take my coffee, hold it in my hand in front of the stadium and take a picture. I tag them in it and I'll say like the best whatever latte in town. And then I tag myself across the screen. So that way, when they share it, it's not only showing my little picture up in the corner, but I also have my name blasted across. That way it's out there even more. And then the people can easily come back to my page and they're going to see my name. I can even put, you know, better yet, you put your face with the stuff. And then now they're seeing your face, they're seeing your name, and they're seeing this other local business sharing your stuff. So those are my pro tips on that. I think this might be the end. Yes. All right. So I'm going to stop share. And I wanted to open this up to anybody who has questions, anybody who has brilliant ideas that they want to share, things that have worked, things that maybe they need help with. You can come off mute, you can go in the chat, whatever you need to do. But I wanted to open this up for the next couple of minutes before we hit noon. Not everybody all at once though. Come on. Somebody's got to have something here.
I have a question.
Like, I was going to say, I know I did a good job, but I can't be that good. Come on.
I have a question. Okay, so I haven't done this because I didn't know if I was doing it sequentially right. But if I go into my stories and I post where I'm talking and then I run out of time and so I hit it again and finish whatever I'm saying, well, does it post it in the right order?
Yes.
Or is there anything special you have to do?
Nope. So you're saying like you max out like the seconds?
Yes. So like
Yeah,
if I was
keep talking.
doing, okay. Because
So
when you're posting it basically backwards. So I'm wondering if it.
no. So, okay. So if you're doing a story on Instagram, you're holding the button down. Don't just stop at that 15 seconds, just let it keep going. And then when it'll stop you. So you do have to kind of watch that little ticker at the bottom. So where your thumb, when you hold your thumb down, it like circles around and that's your timer. You have to keep an eye on that timer because you don't want to be like kind of mid sentence when it cuts off. Cause it does, in my experience, it does cut off just a little bit before that mark. So then you post that video and it'll post all 4 parts. Then you have to record another one to finish what you're saying. So
Right.
Usually what I'll do is I'll try to remember what my last word was and then just continue on. Or if I can't remember it, which is 9 times out of 10, I'll just say anyway, and then I'll keep talking, or I'll say, as I was saying, and then I keep going. I do think that you obviously want to finish out your sentences. I do see a lot of videos that, and I don't know what the reasoning is on this, but I see a lot of videos on TikTok and even sometimes in stories. And I think it might just be an engagement thing where it does cut off like a little bit before the end. So you never actually hear the end of the story. And I'm pretty sure it's just to get people to comment and be like, oh my God, what happened? What's the deal? What happened? Then they'll come back and post a part 2. So I'll see that a lot in like TikToks and Reels sometimes. Like I had to do a 2-part for my story about my client almost losing their house at closing. So it's on like part of it's like you kind of want to leave them hanging. It's like the cliffhanger on a show. And then they come back, they want to see the rest. But then you do risk them not seeing the other part. Like it's weird to me that my 2-parter, my second part got 7,000 views and my first part only got 15. So it's I said 7,000. Yeah, 1,500. So it's a big difference on who actually saw the whole story. But some people obviously only wanted to see the second part. That's all they really cared about. So it is interesting on how that works. But yeah, max out your time, start back over and do the other thing. I will say the thing I struggle with the most is, let's say I usually record everything in Instagram. So if I want to post it over to Facebook stories, I will, and Facebook stories, I get a ton more views than I get on Instagram. It's crazy. I don't know why. But like if I did, let's say I did a whole story on something and I wanted to post it on Facebook stories, you have to save each video individually and then go upload them to Facebook stories. And Facebook is a pain in the neck because you have to upload it. It takes a bit to upload. You got to wait for it. Then once that posts, then you got to wait a couple seconds to then post the next one, or it will jumble it up on Facebook. And I can't tell you how many times I have tried to post it and I just like post. And then I go back and watch it and they're all out of order. Doesn't make any sense. But Facebook, you just have to be more patient with that. Okay, hold on. We got some questions here. I think at times it's intentional because they don't know how to use the technology well. Yeah, probably. Okay, this might be another topic, but my question is, I have a business page and then it came out with the professional page. I turned it in my personal page into that, all on Facebook. I'm trying to get my business page more engagement. Super slow. Yeah. Okay. So you're not going to get a lot of, stuff on your business page. I have the same thing. I think I have like 700 likes and I get like 1 or 2 likes per post. Like it's pathetic, but you need to have that business page for people to be able to search you. You need to have it to be able to post stories. To post ads. Kara, I would be curious if you could pop in the chat and just let us know how, because you do have a ton of local business or local people reaching out to you. I know that we've talked about it before, and it is mainly for your personal page, but I'm just curious how comparatively your business page works with your compared to your personal page. If you want to pop in the chat, if you can. Anna said the business page is slow too. The business page is just, you have to have it, in my opinion. It's just not, you're not going there for what you're going to go to Instagram or Facebook for, in my opinion. You have to have it though, to be able to run your ads and to be searchable. But if you wanted to try to get more traction, I would try to go live in there. I would be posting in there more intentionally for maybe local things that are going on, tagging those businesses, making sure that you are just being intentional with what you're posting there. You could definitely throw in some personal stuff on there, but excuse me. But it's mainly going to be for your business. So I do think posting some personal stuff in there would be important. Okay, Kara said, my business page gets me a good bit of business. I would say 5 to 10 closings a year, maybe more. I need to check on it. I've noticed in the past 3 months, engagement has dropped significantly when I boost. So you can also, that's a good point. You can also boost your posts. So let's say you did this would actually be a really smart idea to come up with like a packet of information for stuff going on in the city, like an event booklet. And you could have that booklet linked to your, to like a Google Drive. And then you could share that to Google Drive to people who, that Google Drive link, so people could download your free guide to, local events. You could do it quarterly. You could do it for like fireworks in 4th of July or whatever. And then you could boost that post to then get people to come back to your page to download that free guide. And you could do that free guide with like a landing page or something too. But I want to wrap this up. I'm so sorry. I have another appointment I have to get to, but really quick, does anybody have anything else? Kara said, a lot of people will search your business page first. So just try to stay consistent on it. But the strategy with my content is different. So she does, one thing I will say what Kara does, and if you guys don't know, Kara, I keep talking about her, go check out her socials. She does pretty much everything on public. So then people really know her, they know her family, they see her out and about. She's a great example of really utilizing socials to her benefit for her town. So, and it works. So if you're not following her, definitely, and she utilizes Facebook more than Instagram. And so that's different. Like I utilize Instagram more than I use Facebook. So, but but it's really worked for her. And honestly, think about it in a way like most people, I shouldn't say most people, like kind of know your audience. She's clearly getting a lot of business from Facebook. So she's going to put more money and time and energy into Facebook than she would Instagram if she's seeing that return. So she's going to double down. She might post 3 times as much on Facebook as I do on Instagram, but she's also getting 3 times more business. You know what I mean? Same thing if she was to start branching out more on Instagram, she might still have a better return on Facebook because that's where she's been consistent, she's trending, all of those things. So, all right, let's see. When you share the Google when you share Google Guide, are you able to capture their email? No, but if you made you could easily make a landing page and then put your landing page, make sure they have an email in there, and then it can automatically email it to them. Since yesterday, I've received 7 leads on Facebook. I'm showing a $6,000 or $600,000 house today, and they have to sell 2. Consistency is your best friend. She is 100% right. We're going to have you on, Kara. Once you're feeling better, we're going to have you on here. I know we haven't talked about it, but it's already done. You're hired. Anna, you're welcome. You're so sweet. My social media is inspiring and honestly refreshing to see a realtor successful in business without pushing cold calling. I don't deal well with rejection. I'll just say that. I don't want anybody yelling at me on the phone. So, all right, you guys, thank you so much. I have to hop off. I got to go to get my nails done before I leave for my trip, but thank you guys all so much. Later on today, or early tomorrow, I will have all these docs up in Modern Agent Blueprint. I will probably take all of those things and put them in a Google Doc to make it easier to download. So it's not downloading the whole slideshow, but you guys will have both for you. So, all right, everybody. Thank you so much.
Job,
I hope you guys have an awesome day. Create some content today. Go do a story about what you just learned. Perfect. Jenny, I want to see.
Thank you.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.